Another kill to my name. There you are.
You're awake. How about that?
I pick a fitting name. Maybe my character would scare the Legate away. In hindsight, my build was terrible. I pick sneak, guns, and medicine for my tag skills. And for my traits, I pick skilled and built to destroy. Since I don't spawn the Legate in Doc Mitchell's house, I decided it wasn't fair to take all of his stuff.
You should talk to some...
So I left behind his gear and all my DLC weapons and stepped into my hell. Soon it was time to spawn the first Legate.
Watch out!
Oh, that's it.
You like that?
The Legate's speed was not something I had planned for. He runs 80% faster than the player. There's no running from the Legate.
Die, coward.
He also has a 15% knockdown ability, which means if he hits you once, it turns into 5 hits. And there was no way I was going to be able to fight him.
Death to prophecy.
I died 14 times just trying to escape Good Springs. Eventually, I learned the Legate's biggest weakness, terrain. He gets stuck on rocks, fences, hills, trees, basically anything that isn't just flat ground. So the mountains are my best friend.
There you are. Die, coward.
But the second I leave high ground, he closes the gap in seconds. After a few attempts, I reached Prim. And a few seconds later, so did the Legate.
To my name.
I went to talk to Johnson Nash. Apparently the Legate doesn't like when I talk to other guys.
Death to profligates. You like that?
I used the Legate's chaos to loot the entire town. And honestly, he was pretty useful here. He cleared the entire Bison Sea for me.
You like that?
Very helpful.
I knew it. Aha!
Things got a little complicated with Deputy Beagle though.
You like that? I'm out of here. I found it.
But I managed to escape. Now all I had to do was make it to Novak. And then the reality of this challenge really hit me. Even when you escape, you're never actually safe. At best you have about a minute before the Legate comes back. This random building became the MVP of the run. It gave me just enough breathing room to survive.
Now those tough-looking fellows must be great cons. I recognize those funny helmets and leather vests from stories.
I knew it.
Oh my, I think I've been spotted.
After 6 deaths, I make it into Jackrabbit Springs.
Degenerate.
And for the first time in the run, I actually lost him. At least for a little bit. Then I thought I could save inside this cave, but it turns out it wasn't real. Luckily, the coyotes distract the Legate for me.
Die, coward.
Too bad their sacrifice was completely pointless. Then I decided to farm some easy XP from some bighorners. Huge mistake. There went all my healing. Eventually, I made it into Nipton. I genuinely don't know why I thought going through Nipton was going to be a good idea. I climbed onto this trailer for safety. And after 17 completely unnecessary deaths, I escape. I drop a save at Wolfhorn Ranch. It had already taken forever to get this far, and it would be even longer to get to Novak. This collapsed pylon became my lifeline. Too bad I would eventually have to climb down. This trader was completely useless, so naturally I just use him as a human shield.
Stop.
You like that?
Sometimes I genuinely thought I had escaped. Only for the Legate to appear right behind me. I find a rock to stand on and unload everything I have into him. And it barely left a scratch. And it barely left a scratch. Then I learned that the Legate can pick up weapons. Great. Finally, after 86 deaths, I reach Novak.
Degenerate.
I also discovered another strategy, and honestly, I'm not proud of this one. If I entered a loading screen and intentionally died, I could reset the timer, basically giving myself 1 free minute without the Legate. It was cheap, but at this point I was desperate. Anyway, I looted Novak, snooped through Manny's computer, and made my way towards Boulder City. Thankfully, this part was way easier because of all the autosaves.
You'll pay for that.
And the Boulder City quest itself was easy.
Death to profligates!
I just let the Legate handle negotiations.
Like that!
Lake Mead made getting to the strip super easy. I grabbed the lucky 38 key card from Camp Golf and a nice set of combat armor.
Sounds like a running trend now. I'd still rather... take my leave at the strip.
And then I walked the pipeline the rest of the way to Freeside, where the Legate physically could not touch me.
Fool!
There was just one problem. I did not have 2,000 caps.
Submit to a credit check.
So I started scrounging around the Mojave.
I'm sorry.
I got around 500 caps from Crimson Caravan before the Legate slaughters everyone.
Lafferty's
Another
hard
kill
boss.
to mine.
then another 1,000 from the gun runners. Both places were permanently unusable afterwards. Then another 100 from Dixon.
Thanks.
The Silver Rush was my last major source of caps. But the place has a painfully long cutscene,
Point. The second half of your payment is late, and I want to know why.
which means a Legate almost always spawns before I can leave. Either I died or Gloria died. And then I discovered something horrifying.
Had enough?
Because he normally only appears at the very end of the game, New Vegas marks him as essential. So every minute I'm spawning in an immortal god. Fantastic news. Eventually, I do make it onto this trip. Killing Benny was pretty easy. I just again weaponized the Legate.
I'm gonna ring your bell.
Then I met Yes Man.
Hey!
And immediately realized this would become a problem later.
Death to profligates!
After that, I killed Mr. House. And by the time I tried to return to Yes Man, there was already too many Legates inside the tops. Even if I managed to get to him, he was already dead.
Gosh darn it!
I tried 28 times to reach him before the Legates get to him, but I'm never fast enough. In hindsight, I could have used Turbo, or I could have killed House before speaking to Yes Man, or maybe taken off the combat armor that slows you down. Honestly, I was just making terrible decisions.
See you soon!
So I had to give up on the independent ending for now. Which meant I had to do the NCR ending.
Greetings, friend.
And there is absolutely no way I was doing the NCR ending without help. So I went into Zion.
But here we are, Zion.
I was also unbelievably tired of abusing loading screens. The rivers and cliffs and Honest Hearts made escaping the Legate much easier.
Damn you.
I really wanted to see Joshua Graham and the Legate fight each other,
Prepare to
But apparently he's too focused on me.
die where you stand.
And then I find the weapon that made this entire challenge possible, the compliance regulator. And honestly, it was kind of trash. It was half broken and it only came with 60 energy cells. And my build was terrible for crits. But 10 seconds of paralysis was still 10 seconds. And for the first time in the challenge, I could actually fight the Legate. Joshua Graham heroically sacrificed himself for me.
Fool.
And I start the long escape from Zion. I grab the map and I have to walk all the way across the canyon. I craft a few more precious energy cells. And then I get lost, which wastes even more resources. Eventually I find the right way, but things were still miserable. I get so close to making it out.
There you are.
But then I panic jump off a cliff.
Fool.
Classic. Eventually I managed to cross the rope bridge, but there was just way too many Legates. I managed to find a bed closer to the exit where I could barely survive. And then I find the worst medkit I've ever seen. Then finally, after 294 deaths, I escaped Zion.
Die, coward.
Was it worth it? Honestly, I don't know. I picked Travel Light, which reduces the Legate speed advantage slightly. Then I returned to the strip, because I desperately hoped Yes Man had respawned while I was gone. I genuinely didn't think the NCR route was even possible. Before entering the tops, I stopped at Gomorrah and bought Turbo from the Messiah of this run.
Give me a
Come back.
I knew it.
Over here! I'm gonna clip your sorry ass.
You'll pay for that. I knew it.
Then I entered the tops, and thankfully, Yes Man had respawned.
Oh!
Then I move on to the Great Khans.
Degenerate.
Somehow my reputation was high enough to trade with the armory, so I bought every single energy cell they had. But they did not appreciate me spying the Legate.
Death to profligates.
Had enough?
Fool.
Next came the Brotherhood, and I chose probably the most dangerous route possible to get there.
Degenerate.
At one point I spawned a Legate inside a house full of powder gangers, and somehow they actually managed to beat him.
Hey! Got enough? Had enough.
Then I get trapped on a roof. Eventually I escape and reach Hidden Valley.
Degenerate. Damn you. Damn you. A coward.
And by this point, multiple Legates were already chasing me.
You'll pay for that.
Listen very closely.
Then the Brotherhood steals all my gear, and because my armor was broken, I can't re-equip it. Perfect.
To my name.
Thought you'd sneak up on me?
Luckily, with all these Legates around, I don't think there's going to be any more NCR patrols.
Another kill to my name.
After dying like 20 times, I finally just decided to use some turbo. I make it into the bunker, but they're still right behind me. And now I'm locked in the bunker. Thankfully, I can just grab a set of keys and get out. Then I escape Hidden Valley. I run into a little bit of a snag outside of RepCon. At this point, the Mojave was really collapsing. Entire regions were unusable. Freeside was overrun. McCarran was infested. The strip was barely functioning, and every major faction was constantly under attack.
Death to profligate! Had enough! Get some!
But I do manage to make it inside of McCarran.
Go on through, soldier.
Then I circle back to Freeside to restock on some energy cells.
Come on.
A Legate turns me into an eldritch being. At this point, Freeside had become pretty overrun by Legates.
Degenerate.
Then after dying for like 30 minutes, I just cave and use another turbo. Then it was time for the Boomers, which was probably the worst faction for this challenge. Trying to survive an artillery bombardment while being chased by an immortal Legate was not fun.
Die, coward.
But eventually, me and the Legate reach Pearl.
I'll take this from here. Watch out!
Contact.
Contact!
And escaping Ellis was a bit of a challenge.
You'll pay for that. You'll pay for that.
Thankfully, Crimson Caravan had reset, which meant some fresh supplies.
Had enough?
At this point, Freeside was basically impossible to navigate.
Don't mess with us.
But I wish I would have known that before I brought 5 Legates with me. After dying 30 times, I perfected my movements and escaped North Vegas through the sewers. McCarran was completely overrun by now, but it was my only option. I needed to finish the game now.
Watch out.
I wrap up the Ultra Lux.
Over here! Come on!
I've got you now.
Had enough! Come on! Watch out!
Watch out. How may I be of service? Whoa! How may I be of service, sir?
Return to Yes Man, which turned out to be the most annoying part of the entire game.
Hi!
but I get lucky when one of the Legates gets stuck on the stairs.
Wow.
And by some miracle, I survived the basement.
Seriously? Okay, so those are the secure drones. I mean, some of your best friends were secure drones, right? Our titanium alloy housing does a good job of protecting our delicate electronic insides from small arms fire and shrapnel. Our left arm contains an X-25 Gatling laser, quite deadly against soft targets at medium range. That looks like fun. New Vegas finally has soldiers worthy of protecting it. I hope you enjoyed this demonstration. You can come back up and see me or be on your way. I know you're a busy person.
Then the challenge became just talking to Yes Man.
You will pay for that.
But eventually I succeed.
Death to profligates.
Every secure. Oh!
The final step was installing the override chip. On the way, I find a first recon beret, which massively boosted my crit chance.
Degenerate.
Then I find the substation surprisingly easily.
Whoa, watch out!
Install the chip. And then I had to make it back, which became the hardest part of the entire challenge. The area around McCarran was saturated with Legates.
Another kill to my name.
There were way too many to stun, even with perfect luck.
Damn it.
Eventually, I ran into the West Pump Station and almost lost the entire run. The place was full of fiends, and just as the Legate had almost killed me, I panicked and left the building.
Degenerate.
And then realized too late that the Legate's weapon applies poison damage. And I had no healing left, just a couple doses of buff out. Eventually I caved and had to use another turbo. All in all, it took 67 attempts just to make it back into McCarran.
Die, coward.
Inside, things somehow got even worse.
Damn you.
But after another 23 deaths, I reached the monorail.
By Kaiser, I will find you. Damn you.
And then 1 second before I get on the monorail, I get trapped in a death loop. Somehow the game glitched me inside the train, so I managed to make it to this trip.
You'll pay for that. That's it. Run away. I knew it.
Then all I had to do was talk to Yes Man again.
Don't you love seeing...
And then I made it to Hoover Dam, which was surprisingly manageable. And somehow the NCR wasn't hostile to me yet.
Degenerate.
So I just let the Legate fight the NCR heavy troopers.
This is neat.
Then I blew up the dam. Had a little bit of trouble escaping.
Come on!
but I eventually reached the fort.
You like that? Come on!
I tried getting the two Legates to fight each other.
Come on! Had enough? Had enough?
You'll pay for that. Another kill to my name.
Come on!
But the game got confused. Thankfully, I had invested in a speech.
An envoy of...
Generate.
Another kill to my name.
And then I actually finished the game.
Generate.
Guess it ain't no secret how you
This challenge was terrifying. There was not a single second where I was truly safe. Even if I escaped, I only had 1 minute before another Legate appeared. By the end of the run, the Mojave was completely unnavigable. Without Turbo and the compliance regulator, I genuinely don't think this challenge would have even been possible. I died 1,463 times, way more than any challenge I've ever done. But honestly, a lot of those were probably due to timer abuse. If you ever want to do this challenge for yourself, I would highly recommend nerfing the Legate.